We are going to discuss multiplying fractions by a whole number. Before we start going over the questions, we have to remember that the numerator is the top number and the denominator is the bottom number. So in 2/3, the numerator is 2 and the denominator is 3. And the whole number tells us how many we should draw. And the numerator and denominator tells the fraction to be drawn. So in the whole number 3, we have to have 3 groups. And the denominator tells us how many are in a group. And 2 is how many are going to be filled in, or the numerator is going to determine how many is going to be shaded in. So in 2/3, there are 3 groups of 2/3, and there's 2 shaded in out of 3, which equals 2. Question 1. Ashley and 4 friends went trick-or-treating. Each of them got 4/5 of a bag of treats. How many bags of treats did they have in total? We highlighted 4 because it's not in a number, it's in a word. So it can be easier for everybody to see it if it is bolded or underlined. And you can always underline numbers as well to help. So in 4/5, we determine the denominator first. So, which is how many squares we have all together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means the numerator 4 must be the shaded in part, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we have the problem 4 multiplied by 4/5, we have our 4 groups of 4/5. So when we first have to visualize it, we have to remember that it's 4 times 4/5. So 4/5 is always going to be the one you want to write down first before you start making them into groups. And the whole number is going to be how many groups. So we have 4, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. So when we show the work, we have to have 4 groups, which we do. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 of 4/5. And we have 5 in one group with 4 shaded in. Now, to determine, we can count the shaded in parts and move. I always start with the bottom parts, so we can always move over the shaded in parts to determine how many groups we have. And in this, we already did this, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups to determine that the answer is 4. But I left the white cubes because this shows that we did have 5 groups of 5, but now we have groups of 4 because we moved the white cubes to its own group. So now we have only shaded in parts. So that is a whole number of 4, but it's not always going to be a whole number. So the answer is, of course, 4. Now we have to draw the fraction model to show 2 sevens. Oh, I forgot to read the question. Okay. Question 2. Ken drinks 2 sevenths of a carton of milk each day. How many milk does he drink in 3 days? Now, here is the problem set up, but we have to first draw the fraction model to show 2 sevenths. This is the model to show 2 sevenths. But now we have to determine what is the numerator and which is the denominator. So we're going to count the group as a whole. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that must be the denominator. And the 2 are shaded in. So that is the numerator. Now, the whole number tells us how many groups. So this says 3, so let's check and see if there are 3 groups. And it's 1, 2, 3, and there are 3 groups. Now, we are going to solve the problem. So we have 3 multiplied by 2 sevenths in this group. So now you can shade in, you can check mark it, or even put dots on your paper to move around the cubes in your groups. So what I did was move up the shaded pieces to make one group of shaded pieces. So I can see it better. And this is not all whole groups. We see that. So we now have to so that's how we know it's going to be a fraction, because it's mostly unshaded with shaded parts. So let's see if we still have 7 in a group. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we do have all 7 in a group. So that means the denominator is staying the same. It is still 7. But now let's count all the shaded in parts to find the numerator. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the numerator must be 6. And we see that it is 3 times 2 sevenths because it is still in 3 groups. And we could have figured this out by just adding all the shaded in parts over here. So, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shaded in. So the answer is 6 sevenths. Question 3. There are 8 water bottles, and each bottle is 3/4 filled with water. If we pour all the water together, how many water bottles can be filled up? So we have to remember our first step is to draw 3/4. So we now know that we have to draw 4 cubes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then since it's 4 cubes all together, we have to shade in 3. So we shaded in 1, 2, 3 cubes. Now we have to duplicate the fraction model to show 8 models of 3/4. So to make 8 times 3/4, we just needed to make 8 groups. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now to show the work, we know we have 8 times 3/4 because we already made the 8 groups of the 3/4. Now we can add another orange or yellow cube to the 3 because we have a white one here. So we can add another one to this section to make 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in a group. So now we have how many groups. So we will find out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this would be a whole number because they are all shaded in. So the answer is 6. Now, when we go back and look at question number 2, 3 multiplied by 2/7, I saw on your paper that you did make a set of 7 with 2 shaded in. And you did also color in 2 in each set of 7, which was also a good thing. You were doing it right. The thing that got tricky was adding the denominator. We are not going to add the denominators because the denominator stays the same since it's still 7 in a set. But you got the numerator correct. But that is a common mistake. But now we know how to do this. And if we want to use cubes in the classroom, physical cubes, that we can use that as well if you don't want to draw the pictures.